Several years ago I bought some of these lenses just because I couldn't afford anything more expensive. But after some time I managed to get modern glass from different manufacturers, and the more I shot with them, the more I realized that my old cheap lenses have something special. Something that no other in my collection can replicate. Turned out that they are very close relatives to serious cinema beasts. If you're curious, search for Canon K35s. They are extremely rare and expensive. Luckily, these lenses cost less than $100. Sometimes you can find them even cheaper than $50. Yes, they are not exactly those cinema legends, but they are somewhat close. These are Canon's photo lenses, produced in the 70s for 35mm film cameras with FD mount. There are several different versions, of course, and some of them are also quite expensive. But I will tell you about ones that I have. Mainly about this 51.4, but also a little bit about 28 2.8. Their connection to K35 is a nice bonus, but they're also good on their own. The image they produce is sharp and smooth at the same time. You can clearly see the definition even of the smallest thing in the frame, like individual grains of sand, or cat's hairs, or bumps on the leaves. In that regard, they behave just like a good modern lens, even if you pair them with a sensor that can capture 4 or 6K video. And that despite being around 50 years old now. So the image you get is detailed, but doesn't feel overly sharp. And skin tones do feel just right. There is something about how the colors and semitones and those details blend together when they are passing through these lenses. Also, the background blur is just magical. It feels like moving oil painting. It's such a pleasure to look at. Of course, background is background and not the most important part of the image, but it also can add a lot of atmosphere, especially if it looks like that. I really enjoy shooting with Canon FDs. They give that classic movie feel with lots of details and smooth tonal transitions without being too intrusive. Very mature, calm and serious look, I would say. However, they are not perfect, of course. If you try to open them wide, you will notice immediate decrease in sharpness. Everything will become much blurrier and glowier. It could be used as an effect or creative technique, but generally I tend to stop them at least to f3.5. And there is some amount of chromatic aberration, also being especially noticeable at maximum apertures. They are completely manual lenses, so you don't have any stabilization or autofocus. But that means that you don't need an expensive adapter to use them. It is usually just a simple piece of metal that costs around $10. The only thing is, those adapters are not all created equal, even from the same brand. Some are just rock solid and you feel like using a native lens, but others have ungodly amount of play in them. The lens is still usable, but forget about changing aperture or pulling focus during the shot. And there's no simple solution to that other than to try different adapters and hope for the best. It is possible to change the mount completely, but not with all of the lenses, and also that is quite expensive. Also, the attachment process isn't super convenient. You need to align hooks and pins, turn several rings that have dots in different places. You can get used to it, but I'm still struggling sometimes and definitely wouldn't do that on the go. I prefer to have adapters pre-installed on every lens and change them that way. Admittedly, some vintage lenses have simpler systems and they're easy to swap, but this is not the case. There also were third-party lenses for FD mount from companies such as Tamron, Soligor, Vivitar, Takina, Sigma and maybe some others. Just keep in mind that they can have totally different look and feel. Well, even Canon's own glass can have different look between different versions. After all, they were not designed to be used as a set. But anyway, despite all the inconveniences, I love them and would suggest you at least to try them. They are not universal, not suitable to all kind of shoots and have a noticeable character. But they can spark your creativity and help to capture really beautiful pictures without breaking your budget. And that is amazing. As a postscriptum, I've been using these two primes for about 4 or even 5 years now. I tried them with different cameras and different sensors, but these two zooms are a new addition to my collection. It's Canon 28 to 85 f4 and Soligor 70 to 200 f5.6. I probably will make a separate video about them. I just need at least several weeks to play with them in different situations. So stay tuned for that and make something beautiful in the meantime. Hope to see you soon.